You good looking. You're hot.
You killed them?
Well, see anything you like?
I torched all the evidence that proves you're you. You're gonna be in here for the next 100 years. God, I miss that face.
He is definitely the unluckiest cop in Hollywood history. To stop a terrorist attack that would wipe out an entire city, he undergoes a radical surgery to wear the face of his son's killer, Castor Troy. He sends himself into a hellish prison just to squeeze the location of a bomb out of the killer's brother. But he never imagined the unthinkable. Castor Troy, who was supposed to be a vegetable, suddenly wakes up. Feeling something wrong with his face, Castor tears off the bandages and finds a jar by his bed containing a face he knows all too well, the face of Agent Sean Archer. Castor loses it, but as he watches the surgical video of the face transplant, a twisted idea takes root. He has his goons kidnap the lead surgeon. If Archer can become him, then he will become Archer. The nightmare began years ago on a sun-drenched day in Los Angeles. The sociopath Castor Troy lined up a sniper shot, aiming for Detective Sean Archer at a carousel. The bullet tore through Archer's body, but it claimed the life of his young son standing behind him. In that instant, Archer's world shattered. 6 years pass. Archer has never stopped hunting Castor, but the monster has lived like a ghost, invisible and untouchable, until today. Castor resurfaces in LA and plants a massive biological bomb. Once the timer hits 0, the City of Angels will become a living hell. At the thought of this, Castor dances like a manic child inside a cathedral, celebrating his masterpiece. The police are still in the dark about the bomb, but they've tracked a private jet chartered by Castor's brother, Pollux. Castor makes a grand entrance, shedding his trench coat to reveal his signature gold-plated twin pistols. Beside him stands Pollux, the scientific mind behind the bomb that could end the city. On the jet, Castor is busy flirting with a flight attendant when a fleet of police cars roars onto the tarmac. Castor doesn't blink. He recognizes his old nemesis Archer through the window.
FBI!
Pollux reacts instantly, subduing the flight attendant. Castor forces the pilot to take off. Archer, watching from his car, thinks he has them cornered, until Castor hurls his undercover colleague out of the moving plane. Archer boards a helicopter to give chase. He won't let this demon slip away again. He takes out the jet's engine, forcing it to skid out of control on the runway. The jet plows into a massive hangar, coming to a halt in the wreckage. The police surround the area, and the brothers launch a desperate, violent counterattack. But no matter how savage they are no match for the entire LA police force. Pollux is taken alive, while Castor retreats deep into the hangar for a final stand. He drops his shotgun and grips his twin pistols for a face-to-face showdown with Archer. Both men are down to their last bullet.
Bullshit.
Oh no, I see. You think I'm bluffing. Please, man, don't shoot me.
Suddenly, Castor plays the victim, begging for mercy while secretly reaching for a hidden blade. But a jet engine nearby roars to life. The shockwave blasts Castor back, slamming him into a fence. The monster is finally dead. Archer returns home to find his wife worried about their teenage daughter. She's dressed in rebellious fashion, being bullied at school, and facing another suspension. Archer tries to connect, but she slams the door in his face. Still, there's a silver lining. Castor Troy is gone. Archer promises his wife he'll take on fewer missions and spend more time with the family. But the celebration at the precinct is hollow for Archer. He's lost too many colleagues, and his son, and the nightmare isn't over. A special ops team approaches him with a file found in the wreckage. Castor wasn't lying. There is a biological bomb hidden in LA, set to detonate on the 18th. The city is on the brink of extinction. They've interrogated Pollux, the fanatic, but he'd rather die than talk. The team proposes a lunacy-level plan. Find the man who knows Castor best, give him Castor's face, and send him undercover into the high-security prison where Pollux is held. There is only one candidate, Sean Archer. He knows Castor better than anyone, and their physical builds are a match. It's the latest top-secret FBI technology, laser-sculpted hairlines, ear reconstruction, hair removal, and a cutting-edge face mask to complete the transformation. They want to turn him into the man who murdered his son. Archer refuses. He returns to the station and brutally interrogates Castor's associates and his girlfriend, but they know nothing. The clock is ticking. Archer is a cop. For the sake of Los Angeles, he finally says yes. It's a ghost mission. Only a handful of people know. He has to lie to his family. At home, his wife senses another mission is coming. She says nothing. Archer walks into his daughter's room, tucks her in, and stands by her bed, staring at her for a long time. The next day, Archer enters the operating room for a marathon surgery. His face is surgically removed and preserved in a biofluid jar. Piece by piece, the doctors transplant Castor Troy's features onto his own, reshaping his hairline and body. When the bandages finally come off, Archer looks into the mirror and sees the face he hates most in the world. He shatters the glass in a fit of rage, screaming at everyone in the room. But who is he really cursing? Himself or the man behind that face? Once he calms down, a microchip is implanted into his vocal cords. Now, even his voice is a perfect match for Castor. He has only 2 days to finish the job. Archer is processed as a high-security inmate and sent to a brutal offshore prison, where every prisoner wears heavy magnetic boots. As he walks through the gates, he's met with predatory stares, some from his enemies, others from Castor's loyalists. In the corner, Pollux sees his brother and flashes a cryptic smirk. Before Archer can even adjust, an old rival of Castor's lunges at him. He takes a brutal beating, getting slammed onto tables and kicked in the ribs while the guards watch with cold indifference. Curled on the floor in searing pain, Archer slowly looks up. He stares at his tormentor and begins to laugh, a twisted manic cackle that only a monster like Castor Troy could produce. To sell the act, he has to be just as savage as the original. Just as things turn lethal, the guards activate the magnets, slamming everyone's boots to the floor. That night, tragedy strikes. The real Castor Troy wakes up from his coma. In the prison, Pollux senses something is off about his brother, but with that face and that voice, he has no reason to doubt him. Eventually, Archer squeezes the bomb's location out of him. He thinks the nightmare is over, but it's only just beginning. A visitor arrives at the prison, a man wearing Archer's face and his wedding ring. It's Castor. Before coming here, he murdered the surgeons and everyone who knew about the top-secret transplant. Now, the only person left in the world who knows the truth is the devil trapped behind bars. Archer lunges at his own reflection in a desperate rage, but the guards swarm him, beating him into the dirt. To them, he's just a terrorist losing his mind. Castor drives back to Archer's home, nearly missing the turn until he sees the woman at the door. Eve is thrilled. For once, her husband isn't working late. Then Castor walks into their daughter's room.
You're not respecting my
You got something that I crave. I won't tell Mom if you don't.
When did you start smoking?
You'll be seeing a lot of changes around here.
Back in his cell, the real Archer is losing his mind. Castor has already orchestrated a way to get Pollux out of prison. Archer screams for justice, but who believes a demon? Meanwhile, Castor solves the case at the LA Convention Center. He and Pollux staged a hero act, finding the bomb at the final second. The crowd goes wild. Agent Archer is the savior of the city. Camera flashes blind him as he stands in a sea of thunderous applause. The real Archer huddles in the corner of a dark cell, staring at the ceiling, while Castor basks in the adoration of Archer's own colleagues. That night, Castor prepares a candlelit dinner for Eve. Red wine, lobster, and soft music. For the first time, Eve experiences a version of her husband she never knew existed, and Castor experiences a life he never dreamed of. But Archer won't stay down. He's been observing the guards and realizes the only way to shed the magnetic boots is during an electric shock. He provokes a guard just to steal a cigarette, getting himself dragged into the shock therapy room. There, he finds the same inmate who fought him earlier, now half dead from torture. As the electrodes drop, Archer manages to sway the man to his side. They seize a guard's gun and baton, sparking a massive prison riot. It's a bloodbath in the corridors. In the chaos, his ally is gunned down. Archer doesn't have time to grieve. He charges for the exit, only to freeze in his tracks. The prison isn't on land. It's a fortress in the middle of the ocean. A helicopter sweeps overhead, raining machine gun fire. Archer sprints as bullets tear up the metal beneath his feet. He dives into the sea just as a hail of lead follows him into the depths. The surface goes still. The police officially confirm Castor Troy is dead, but Archer is a survivor. He swims to a distant shore and hijacks a car. He calls the hospital to find Eve.
Eve, the man you think is your husband isn't. Go to your mother's. Don't tell him where you're going, just go.
Then dials another number.
Archer here, who's calling?
The war is officially on. If he can't be the good guy, he'll solve this the bad guy way. He tracks down Castor's crew. When he walks in, the room goes silent. They can't believe Castor is alive. This is the life Castor Troy lived. Women, booze, guns, and a gang of outlaws. A friend hands him a box. Archer opens it to find Castor's favorites, the twin gold-plated pistols. His old friend hands him a glass of water laced with a familiar powder. Archer raises the glass and drinks it in one gulp.
You want to get out of the country?
I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna get Sean Archer.
After losing consciousness, Archer wakes up to find Sasha, the sister of Castor's best friend, leaning over him. Nothing happened, but Archer looks at her and whispers, "I'm sorry." Suddenly, a 5-year-old boy runs in. Archer freezes. Sasha tells him, "This is your son." She had kept his identity a secret for years to protect him. Looking at the boy, Archer can't help but see the ghost of his own murdered son. Suddenly, a stray bullet shatters the window. A fierce firefight erupts. Archer's first instinct is to protect the boy. He slips a pair of noise-canceling headphones over the child's ears, shielding him from the roar of the war outside. As the gang and the police trade lead, Archer looks at his own colleagues through the sights of his gun, unable to pull the trigger. Meanwhile, Castor, wearing Archer's face, stands outside, laughing like a maniac. In the chaos, Archer hides the boy in the basement. There, he encounters a former colleague but chooses to knock him unconscious rather than kill him. But Castor has no such mercy. When Archer's best friend and boss stands in his way, Castor doesn't hesitate. A single bullet to the throat, and the man who raised Archer lies dead in a pool of blood. Archer and Castor finally meet. They stand back to back, separated only by a double-sided mirror. After a few chilling words, they turn simultaneously, their reflections clashing in a surreal standoff. Federal agents storm in, forcing Archer to flee. He climbs to the roof and grapples with Castor's brother, Pollux. In the struggle, Pollux crashes through a glass skylight and falls to his death. Castor reaches the ground just in time to see his brother's lifeless body in the dirt. Furious over the carnage, the director of the FBI calls Archer into his office to reprimand him. Castor listens to the old man's lecture, glances out the window, and casually snaps the director's neck. The man who was a father figure to Archer is gone in an instant. At the same time, the real Archer sneaks into his own home. Eve emerges from the shower, and Archer grabs her in a desperate embrace, his explanations coming out in a frantic blur. To Eve, the man holding her is the monster who killed her son. But Archer doesn't give up. "We swapped faces, we swapped voices," he pleads. But one thing never changes: blood type. That night, while Castor is asleep, Eve extracts a blood sample and rushes to the hospital. When the results come back, her hands shake. It's not her husband's blood type. Archer is there waiting for her. Eve is terrified, trusting no one, until Archer reaches out and gently touches her face. A familiar, tender gesture only her husband would know. Through tears, she finally believes him. Archer tells her, "The director's funeral is tomorrow. That's our only chance to take him down." At the cathedral, the city mourns the director. A man in sunglasses approaches. Someone hands Castor a photo of Archer's son. Castor looks at the photo, then at the white doves fluttering in the rafters. He crushes the photo, a cruel smile playing on his lips. As the service ends, the real Archer enters to pay his final respects. A voice rings out from behind, a voice he knows all too well. It's Castor. He has brought Eve. Outside, Castor's goons have intercepted Archer's daughter, Jamie. Everyone is forced into the center of the church. Suddenly, Sasha appears, aiming her gun at Castor. Castor's men pivot, and a Mexican standoff erupts. In an instant, all hell breaks loose. Doves take flight, and rose petals are shredded by gunfire. Eve grabs a bench to strike back before diving for cover. Sasha throws herself over Archer to shield him, taking a fatal round. As Sasha dies, Eve's tears fall. She is the only one who truly understands the sacrifice. The battle spills outside. Archer sees Jamie and tries to protect her, but she screams and runs away. She doesn't realize this monster is her real father. The gunfight turns into a brutal fistfight. Jamie sees Archer, Castor, beating the man who tried to save her. She grabs a discarded gun.
Good girl, Jen! Shut up! I'm your father!
But Castor lunges, taking her hostage. In that moment, Jamie realizes the truth. She pulls a butterfly knife and drives it into Castor's thigh. Castor screams, letting go. Archer charges, and the two crash toward the river. Castor hijacks a speedboat, and Archer jumps onto another. The two boats scream across the water in a high-speed duel. After colliding with a massive ship, Archer's boat begins to leak fuel. He makes a desperate leap onto Castor's boat, and the brawl continues on the bucking bow. Moments later, the boat slams into an embankment, the momentum launching both men onto the land just as the vessel explodes in a massive fireball. They crawl to their feet for one last round. Castor grabs a lead pipe and pummels Archer. Bleeding and battered, Archer spots a spear gun on the ground. As the pipe swings down, Archer grabs the spear and drives it through Castor with everything he has. Knowing he's finished, Castor begins frantically clawing at his own face, trying to mutilate the features so Archer can never have his face back. The devil, Castor Troy, is finally dead. Sirens wail in the distance. Eve has called the police and revealed the truth. Days later, Eve is working at home. Sunlight pours through the window as a familiar figure appears in the doorway. She looks up, and there is the face of Sean Archer, the real Sean Archer. Faces can be swapped, voices can be altered, and fingerprints can be faked, but the soul engraved in a man's bones can never be changed.